Here we are, men in blazers, Euro 2000 and Copa Euro Day 21. Copa America Day minus something.
Just
Rog.
as there's life after death, there's still Euro 2016, even though England have farted out of it.
Oh, even after the game we just witnessed.
Men in blazers, Davo, Rog.
Volpe products.
Wham. We are like Wham.
Yeah.
Footballing Wham.
Andrew Ridgeley, George Michael.
Oh, Portugal, the Andrew Ridgeley of football.
They're not that good.
Well done. You've got into the semi-final without winning a game in regulation. That takes some doing.
Yeah.
Let me read your scores. Portugal 1, Iceland 1. Portugal 0, Austria 0. Portugal 3, Hungary 3.
Yeah.
You beat Croatia in extra time.
Yeah.
And now you've beaten Poland, who really have looked so good on penalties in this tournament. They are the kielbasa of penalty takers, but now you have smitten them.
Yeah.
Oh, talking like kielbasa makes me just want to make love to some Volpe products.
Oh, Volpe Brassaola.
How do I open this Volpe product?
I don't know.
Oh, let's...
I'm just going to go straight for the salami.
I just can't help myself, and I'm getting strangely aroused at the thought of the Volpe.
Yeah.
This was a fascinating game we've just come off. We're going to have Ernie Stewart, the iconic Ernie Stewart, come and talk to us about the US, about the Copa campaign, about MLS, about youth development in a minute. But first, oh my Lord, what is this made out of? Puffin?
No.
Oh, I love it. What a fascinating game this was. The biggest star in Europe against a team that have actually found collective form, shown real performances, a.k.a. how much would the sight of Lionel Messi crying and retiring motivate one Cristiano Ronaldo to play like he really used to play? And Poland not been an easy foe in this tournament. Portugal, a team that had not yet and still have not yet gelled and given a signature performance, even though they march on. Before this game, you know what? Let's celebrate Portugal. Open up the Vino Porto.
We're making our own port now, Rog.
Yeah, we are. So limited edition cask of one.
Yeah, you don't take very much port because it's very rich.
Yeah,
Rog.
when you were away,
it's very rich.
When we were away, we had that wonderful Hobbit on, and he knocked back a full glass. Do you remember?
He did.
As if it was a shot glass. It was fantastic.
Cheers.
L'chaim, as they say in this bomb. I mean, in this game, problems for Portugal thus far have been their lack of imagination in the midfield. Tried to solve it here by giving the keys of the car to 18-year-old wonderkind Renato Sanchez.
He's just a child, Rog. He's just a child.
Well, that child has just gone to Munich for an initial fee of $38.7 million, which could rise to nearly 90 million. The problems for Poland had been that they've been constipated up top. Robert Lewandowski had scored as many goals in the Euros as Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah.
But all of that changed, Davo, within 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Lewandowski, Rog, a fantastic finish. He slammed it home. And the whole of Poland, the whole of Chicago, half of London, Rog, going crazy at that point.
You have to say, Portugal defender Cedric, routine
Cedric.
fly ball, kind of froze, allowed Grosicki to charge in and just slap the ball towards Lever, who calmly, clinically, he's back. Welcome to the party, Lever. What could go wrong now? 644-minute scoring drought at the Euros over for that gentleman. The second fastest Euro goal of all time. Thrill for this Polish team, a wonderful team. A great piece this morning in The Guardian about the adversity that shaped them, the poverty, the deep hardship, the tragedies that befallen so many of their players. I mean, theirs is a collective will born of struggle. Compare that to your England team, who are currently being abused by the tabloids at home because they are just spoiled brats. I mean, Daniel Sturridge today, I don't know why he chose to admit this to the English papers. He admitted that he likes to spray cologne on his jersey because he likes the way it smells when he's playing, David.
Good, that's wonderful. Well, Poland at this point, looking pretty good, Rog. They're looking large, they're looking athletic, they're looking fast, they're knocking the ball around with some confidence. It was a pretty good opening 30 minutes to the game for them.
Yeah, I was worried for this guy. Because his brain must have been synapsing. You can even foul him in the penalty area now. Nobody respects him to such an extent.
That was a wonderful foul by Kung Fu Pazdan. Rog brought him down after 31 minutes.
Poland just out-muscling. Which one's your favourite Ronaldo? There's just so many poses that I adore.
Do you notice how plucked he is? Just the side of his head, when they cut to the side of his head, the plucking, the grooming, the waxing, the electrolysis. There's so much going on with him, Rog.
Everything is bleached. Everything is perfectly puckered. I mean, Portugal wobbled. They tried to take it on the chin. Renato Sanchez desperately trying to get his team back into the game, chipping a few exquisite balls back to his bee-stung teammates.
Yeah.
The Ronaldo, we've got to talk about the Ronaldo free kick thing. It's a magnificent thing. I've never seen anything like it, Dave. I really adore it. It gives me untold pleasure.
Yeah.
He's taken 41 free kicks in major tournaments.
How's he done in those 41 free kicks,
He's
Rog?
yet to score a goal.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, watching him, and there's so much I admire about it, I've got to be candid. The fact that he keps trying, I love.
Yeah.
The fact that he's like this iconic player with the most Twitter followers of any athlete, I believe, in the world. But he, at the same time, he's like Charlie Brown trying to kick a field goal with Lucy holding the ball. And the amazing thing about him taking free kicks, this one that he took today just pummeled the wall. I mean, it was like a kind of free kick that you or I would take. The most humanly edifying thing about it all is that he looks astonished every time. He looks a little bit affronted. And that state of mind, that petulant show pony that is really good at soccer or used to be really good at soccer, is one of the fascinating kind of question marks that hangs over this Portuguese team. At Gaston Dubadas tweeted us and said, why does Ronaldo always have a facial expression that looks like someone has just told him that the spot on his penis doesn't look good?
He's just insufferable, isn't he, Rog? He is absolutely insufferable. Anyway, Rog, after 33 minutes, the child, Renato Sanchez, Rog, a wonderful finish. Hooked his, moved left, shot with his left foot, wrapped it around into the right-hand corner of the net. 1-1.
You've missed out a tiny detail. Wicked deflection off the diving Polish defender, Krychak.
You make your own
you
luck,
score
Rog.
0 of the shots you don't take. You'd think that the Polish keeper, Fabianski, would have saved it if but for that wicked deflection. But as the ball went in...
Joe Hart wouldn't have saved it.
Pity this gentleman as the Portuguese equaliser goes in. I mean, first of all, his team let him down, concede a goal within 2 minutes. Then they equalise, and he's not the hero.
He had nothing to do with it.
Must have been like, WTF, man.
Nothing to do with
Portugal has a new hero. Portuguese Christian Pulisic just scored. He's only 18, Sanchez. I've got to ask you this. Did watching an 18-year-old wonderkind run the Portugal midfield in a Euro quarter-final make you wish we'd seen a bit more of 17-year-old Christian Pulisic in the Copa?
Definitely. It
did make...
He doesn't look like an 18-year-old, though, Rog. He looks large, he looks fast, he looks very, very classy. We've heard a lot about him for years, and I think we're going to hear a lot about him in years to come. Anyway, the game at that point, Rog, it pretty much fizzled out.
It was a chess game. A crap chess game.
Not very good.
Poland
not as entertaining
trying
as a
to work
chess game.
out just how many resources they could commit forward to try and find a winner without leaving themselves open at the back as Portugal's forward movement started to give them jitters. Portugal worked out just how much of a collective team they could be when Ronaldo just berated his teammates at every opportunity. You know, I look at Bale, I look at Gareth Bale, and I look at how he handles himself as the one superstar in a squad of role players.
While he's losing his hair as well.
A lot going on personally for that man. But he's just absolutely lifting the spirits of all.
He's a mensch,
he says the badge
Rog,
is all I need to make me feel motivated. He's been a team leader. He's taken his guys out for meals to public restaurants. All this gentleman does is absolutely scorch earth it around him. The faces he pulls when the passes on. I mean, how his team can play with him. I mean, how they don't all just work out how to, in the middle of the night, go into his bedroom and just beat him up with bars of soaps in sock. I don't know.
Like I said, he is insufferable. And yet, when he makes a mistake, Rog, when he makes a mistake...
Like when he bursts through and then toothlessly batters the ball against the side netting. I mean... He played as if he and Nani had actually had some kind of face-off style face swap. I mean, it was fascinating. When he makes a mistake, like when the ball was beautifully chipped over, beautiful dink by Moutinho. There's only the goalkeeper to beat. It was a very difficult kind of technique to master.
But the sort of thing that Ronaldo practices
a man with pretensions to being the #1 footballer in the world. I mean, he absolutely whiffed. We got to witness a man who had built a museum to himself in which there are statues of himself. In that museum of himself, we got to see him.
He doesn't miss leg day.
We got to see him whiff. We got to see him whiff with the world watching. I mean, it was fascinating. Different Poland in the second half, just holding on. Game just became a clinic, if you like. Terrible crossing, the odd long shot, mostly blocked.
A lot of blocks.
The only real enjoyment was the Polish fans spending the last 20 minutes chanting, Messi, Messi.
Yeah.
That's it, Davo.
Additional time was even worse, Rog.
By the way, when he whiffed Ronaldo, I was just glad that it was him that whiffed and not his teammates.
Yeah.
Because if it was one of his teammates, my God, there would have been public wedgies.
They would have got a rollicking.
There would have been
They would have had a rollicking
handed out
in Portuguese.
There would have been wedgies handed out on the field with the world watching. I'll say this.
Yeah.
There's a reason the Copa, we mocked it.
Yeah.
But there's a reason the Copa goes right to penalties. Right after...
regular time, regulation. Yeah. Anyway, we go to the penalties.
No, we had to sit through 30 minutes of nothing.
Yeah, that was
WXUT tweeted us and said, I think at this point, having a who can toss a mic further contest would be more exciting. It went to penalties.
Yeah. And it was a good penalty shootout. You have to say, Rog, clinical through the first 7.
Well, the fascinating part of the penalty shootout was that I was in Donetsk when I watched Spain dump Portugal out of the last Euros on penalties, and this gentleman chose to not take a penalty in that shootout. He claimed he was going to take the 5th that never happened.
Yeah.
This time he chose to take number 1.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, under huge pressure, he converted the huge pressure being that he knew that if he missed that penalty, Lionel Messi would immediately unretire internationally, but he made it.
Yeah, and then Lever took the first one for Poland. Fantastic penalty. Everybody's making it. And then, unfortunately, Baskowski, Rog, steps up with the 4th penalty for Poland.
Yeah, he rushed it. I've got to say one thing about the Polish penalties that shocked me is statisticians. There's a Norwegian psychologist who studies penalties, Geir Jordet.
Yeah.
And he studies penalties and statistics. He found out if you win the toss and you go first on penalties, you win 62% of the time because the pressure is immediately on the other team for that catch-up penalty. Lewandowski, in both penalty shootouts, won the toss, yet chose to go second.
Wow.
Ultimately,
he perhaps does not respect the Norwegians.
Or their statistics, and they paid the iron price. So Ronaldo gets to lead his team into the semi-finals of this Euros without winning a game in regulation. There was a fantastic story told by Jose Font of Southampton. He told The Guardian that Ronaldo in the showers, this is a testament. Yeah, as much as we mock him, as much as we deride this man, there is a competitive force of nature that burns incredibly brightly. And Jose Font says he does push-ups in the shower, and this is Ronaldo, and he says to everyone, I'll do more push-ups than you in the shower after training. And we'd all look at him and say, you know, who the hell does shower press-ups? And he'd just be down on the floor, giving it hundreds. That is how you get to be a winner,
Rog, they are the first team who've gone into the semi-finals. They play the winner of Wales, Belgium.
I might just play Iceland in the final. That would be absolutely fantastic.
You never know, Rog.
That is enough of that crap. We've got 2 choices. I can either stuff my face full of Volpe products, or we can get someone into the panic room who can elevate the conversation, Davo. The choice is yours.
Let's do both, Rog. Ernie Stewart.
Oh, come on. An icon.
Stewart.
1994 icon.
Oh.
I don't know where to start with this man, Davo.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not properly dressed. Oh, my God. I'm going to turn it on for you.
This is bringing back the memories.
This is bringing back memories, yep.
Oh, God, I raided Jeff Agoose's finished basement.
Oh, a goose.
And got this. It might smell musty, but it's still a winner. What do you think, Lex? Oh, you like. Thumbs up. There you go. I wanted to honour your arrival. An icon of mine when I first came to this country. An amazing gentleman. Eredivisie star, came back, played for the US time and time again, over 100 caps, came to MLS as a player, won MLS Cup, and then immediately, age 36, you became a technical director in Holland and just worked to club after club, changing them, has come back to our loving bosom and done what many people thought was impossible, taking the Philadelphia Union from, well, not worst. I'd never say that about the Philadelphia Union, but near
not
worst.
the best.
Yeah, not the best doesn't rhyme with first, which is where they are now. And Ernie, let's ask you the big questions. Everyone wants to hear the answer to, Ernie. Do you still own a United States 1994 World Cup stonewashed denim jersey?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Where is it?
It's back at home in Holland. Yeah, one of the most hideous shirts ever. But
where do you keep your shirts? Do you frame them?
No, actually, this one's in a. That one I did frame. Yes, that one I did frame.
Where were you when you first saw that? So you're coming back from Holland, where you're a leading player in Europe. You're one of the few true professional players on the US team at that time. And you come back, they're all training in California. You come back and meet them. Was there some kind of original unveiling of the denim stonewash? And what did all you guys say to each other when they pulled back the curtain and said, "This is what you'll be playing in"?
Listen, I would have played in anything to play in the World Cup, so it didn't matter to me, and I'm pretty sure all my teammates thought the same thing.
Was that the least attractive jersey you ever played in?
Oh,
or was there a more attractive? There was nothing that came close.
Nothing came close.
It's my favorite international jersey of all time. You played with the US in the 1995 Copa, the year we had a dizzying run to the semi-final, where we lost 1-0 to Brazil. How would you, Ernie Stewart, grade the 2016 United States Copa experience?
Rough start, but we finally got back to what we're good at, and that's getting down to business. And when push came to shove and it became difficult, and when the country was pretty much saying that we weren't going to make it, they stuck together and they became that team that we're so used to, and actually grinded some results out. So
if you were to grade it, what grade would it be? If you were Professor Ernie Stewart?
Well, becoming cup champion is an A, semifinal B, so I'd probably say C.
Interesting. Interesting.
Someone that got a lot of D's in school. I admire that.
I know. We aspire. We always say about the US that we're always asking ourselves, have we learned anything more than we knew before? And I'm not sure that we know anything more about this team than we did before the Copa America anniversario.
No, I think we did learn a little bit more, is that when push comes to shove, once again, is that we can grind the results out. And that's one of the most important things and ingredients in our culture that we do have.
In the soccer culture, that's been there. That's been there.
Not only in the soccer culture, but in general when we go.
The frontier thesis. We can cross those Rocky Mountains.
Exactly.
But the big debate right now in American soccer is, how much progress is the team making right now?
You're going to hold up Jurgen. I see, Alexi.
How much progress is the team making right now over the last 5 years? How much progress under Jurgen has this team made? How do you view the progress of the
I think progress is difficult because it's a generation issue. So you come to a team right now that needs to get results in major games. They don't have the time together that other teams, we in '94 had together. So that makes it very difficult. I do believe that soccer in the United States has gotten better because the MLS is here, but it's gotten it hasn't gone really quick. So that has to do with the culture that we have, that we only have the MLS here for 20 years, and we're fighting against countries that have a culture of 100 years in soccer. So
sometimes even a 100-year culture doesn't make good
not
national teams. But how talented is the player pool compared to the teams you played on in the 90s?
I'd say from an individual standpoint that there are better players. From a team standpoint, I thought that was one of the major things that we did have, is that when we went out and we knew what we were good at and what we weren't good at that time. And so we needed to be a team, and that was where we were very good at. And I do believe on an individual basis that the talent pool is bigger now.
How would you describe the playing style of the U.S. teams that you played in?
Team. Most important. We knew that we weren't as good as all the other countries, and that we need to fight in a certain way. And that was one of the main ingredients that we had as a team. And we all could play soccer. We were all talented, but we realized that we couldn't rely on that only.
I mean, what I'm fascinated by when you say team, that team you came through with in '94 was one of the most unique international teams of the modern period.
Right.
In that there was you, Eric Winalda was playing abroad, Tab Ramos was playing in Spain, Dooley was playing in Germany.
Yep, Harksey.
Yeah.
Roy Regularly.
Harksey was kicking it up in England.
Oh, Sheffield.
The majority of the players were not only not playing abroad, they didn't even have club contracts. This is hard to imagine. Almost the majority of the squad were not professional footballers. The team they played on was the US team. They played something like
central contract.
They played 70 international games over the course of 15 months. They lived together in Mission Viejo, California.
Yep.
And when you live like that in that unique realm where they're playing essentially international teams that are all-star teams that paratroop in, have a practice or two and do their best together. You guys were just drilled, apart from the guys that played abroad. I mean, Alexei and Balboa at the back, they play together, they play every day. And
every day.
Those unique conditions can never be repeated.
No, that's very difficult. So that team was, and Bora was very good at that. We were fit as anyone on Earth at that time, and
so
we knew we need to have that.
Isn't that where the collectivism that we romanticize? Isn't that where that came from? And
well, it's difficult these days with all these international games that they have. Everybody's fit, so you need to find a different way to win games. But that is a big difference from the way we had it back in '94 and what teams have to cope with now. The Messis and the Ronaldos, they're playing finals. 2 weeks before they start a European Championship, which is, when you think of it, is like almost crazy because the season is so long. So it's difficult to put a team together like that then.
So we look at Iceland, we look at performances they've had, this tiny island, 325,000 people, size of Kentucky, all the things I've been saying over and over again.
I've never heard that before.
And then we look at America, 330 million. Still, you would say, trying to develop a youth development pipeline, a clear strategy that is coherent and thoughtful in terms of improving the talent pool. If I were to say, Ernie, you are going to oversee the youth development in the US and you can make 2 changes immediately, what would those 2 changes be to youth development in America?
Well, one of them would be the professional pathway, and I do believe the academies are coming out with all the MLS teams now, so that's an important part, having that professional pathway to...
Just describe the professional, what does that mean?
That means being in the academy and gradually going to your first team without going through college. And I'd have to say that's one of the things, when we talk about rookies here, they're 22 years old, 21, 22 years old, and where I come from, 17, 18 years old, you're already knocking on the door, which is a major difference if you're talking about 3 or 4 years in,
And we just saw Renato Sanchez. He wouldn't even be a freshman in college right now.
Exactly.
So that's one.
Number 2.
Professional pathway.
I'd say number 2 would probably be, for me, the coaching has to be at a certain level that, we talked about Iceland and what they do with their coaches, all with A license, and they're training little kids that are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
4, 5, 6.
Where that's a little bit different in our country right now. So we need to do something about that too.
What's something like what scale of coaching uptick do we need? We were chatting earlier, and you said that there's great coaching in MLS, but it's patchy in other areas. When we talk about the number of good coaches we need in this country. In Iceland, it's 1 for every 400 Icelanders. They have a UEFA A or B. In England, it's 1 for every 11,000. That's the difference there. How many good coaches do we need in this country? What's the scale of the problem?
We have one of the biggest countries in the world, so we need a lot of those coaches. And I do believe the strategy of U.S. soccer right now is that they've actually put that in place, is that they hired some people to actually oversee the coaching and making sure that we get some better coaches especially in the youth.
We might also need less English coaches, significantly. That might really help.
And less English broadcasters too.
Definitely.
But do the elite players need to move to Europe to be the best they can be, like Pulisic?
I understand it from an international standpoint when you have to win those games, like Jurgen Klinsmann is talking about, that the development needs to be there, but we also need to give players chances. So I don't necessarily believe that has to happen, and that we are very capable of having these players develop themselves here. But you have to be able, and you have to want to give these players chances.
Yeah, meaning that a lot of these players go over. They might go to a great team, but they don't get a chance to play, and that isn't exactly going to help.
No, and from a training standpoint, it's fantastic because 5-6 days in the week they will be practicing amongst those players that are very developed. But if you don't play, and that's an important part of your development, you need that. So that's something that we need to create here, is that having those young kids, giving them chances and believe in them that they can actually be a difference maker.
And you became a well-respected technical director, sporting director in the Netherlands, respected by everyone in the game in terms of the clubs that you progressed through and how you transformed each of them, left them off better after you left them than when you arrived. I mean, a really shrewd dealing, working with Billy Bean as Ed, and really emphasising the use of statistics. What made you decide now was the time for me to move my family to America with your track record? I mean, you were really on I think a Premier League trajectory, but you chose MLS. Why?
Having played for the national team and seeing the talent pool that's here in the United States and the athletes that we have, I really felt that this is the place to be. And they always talk about two world markets, China and the United States. Those are the two next soccer countries, and I wanted to be sure I could participate in that. So I always had the dream to come back, and I know it sounds corny, dreaming, but
I love
for me it was good to come back.
And what, other than the Rocky movie franchise, what excited you about Philadelphia?
Well, the academy that we have is absolutely unique. So having seen that and what they do, I've traveled the world a lot, and when I see the school that we have and our academy, I think it's unique for one, United States, but two, also even in the world, is what they do is that they have their own curriculum. So we have our kids that come in the morning, they practice first, go to school, and then once again practice, which is tremendous for a young kid coming up with good coaches. So those were ingredients that I really liked.
Wonderful.
What's your favorite cheesesteak place in Philadelphia, Ernie?
Jim's. Wow. Yep, let's do Jim's.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I'm here for you. Last question for me. You left MLS as a player in 2004, having won the Cup with Mr. Freddie Adu.
Yep.
Describe to me, how has MLS changed in the 12 years that you were gone? And what surprised you most about that upon your return?
Well, the biggest change that there is that the infrastructure for soccer is just better. Everybody has soccer-specific stadiums, almost everybody except my old club, DC. I hear that's going to happen.
Yes.
Those are one of those are the major things that have changed. The players' pool has gotten bigger. We have more teams, so that gives more people chances to go develop themselves and become professionals. So that's a great change that we have.
You and I are going to tape a podcast. I do want. This is something that we've been looking at a lot over the Copa. While America have faltered, this to me is what we need more of in American youth development. This photo from Alexi Lalas with his advice to our young producer JW when he was 12. He just purely wrote, "Kick hard, Ernie.
Kick hard. Kick hard." That was his line.
Yep. Yeah, that's all we need to become a great footballing nation.
Teach the kids in the academy. Kick hard.
Yeah. Ernie, you and I are going to tape a podcast where we're going to get into some of this youth development issue in a deeper and more thoughtful way. We're going to talk about your work with the union, your transformative approach to football club building.
But it's all changed. The union is going so well this season, Ernie. So
Good,
excited about what's going on down there in the city of brotherly love.
Let's bring in the chicken wings to close this thing.
We got to close this. We got to eat wings, Rog. Wales versus Belgium, Friday, 3 p.m. at the Stade Pierre-Mauroy. That's in Villeneuve-d'Ascq near Lille. I've got the Wales ones. You've got the Belgian ones. We're giving you some neutral wings. So there's a neutral, Ernie, if you could tell us
neutral,
what is going to happen in this game. Rog, what do your wings foresee?
The Wales and Belgium played twice in qualifying.
Yeah.
Which one is Wales and which one is Belgium?
Well, no, he's got Belgium, I've got Wales. Your ones are more from a neutral perspective. You could see things coming from both sides.
But I want the Belgium one.
The lowlands.
Yeah. The wings will tell you the truth.
Oh,
the wings,
they'll tell you the truth.
Eat the wings, and they will reveal to you. I should say that the Wales flag was upside down.
Only on one side. And the right side and the other. I think you're reading a bit too much into it.
I don't know, the upside down dragon.
Yeah, Wales beat Belgium in qualifying 1-0 in Cardiff.
That was in Cardiff.
I sense a repeat in a wonderful, wonderful shock. I think there's going to be a 2-1 victory to Wales tomorrow.
Well, Wales do have problems. And my wings Belgium have problems, and my wings are foreseeing this. They don't have Vertonghen. He's injured. Vermaelen, he's suspended. Alderweireld.
Yeah.
That's how I pronounce it. Alderweireld. I think it's close. He's coming into play at the back. I feel like Gareth Bale is going to sense opportunity. Come on, Wales. But I think they're going to lose 3-0. What do you see?
I see Belgium winning.
Yeah.
They have this generation is so talented, and they after the last game, I'm convinced that they're gonna go further. Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing Vincent Company miserable in the ESPN studios post game as he powerlessly, impotently looks on like he has at Manchester City all season long. When are we back to cover that game, Davo?
Tomorrow, Rog, 5 p.m. on Vice. We're going to be here covering that.
Azimir Begovic, the Chelsea and Bosnian goalkeeper, is going to join us. For now, we say to you, Ernie Stewart, Guten Namiddag.
Goedemiddag.
Oh!
Den Haag.
We're speaking Philadelphian, for those of you who don't know.
Very, very true.
We say to you all at home, courage.
I used to go and play junior cricket.